We are, gentlemen, we are live.
We're live.
Live and from Chicago, Illinois. And Mickey, you are in New Jersey. And we are still
I'm in New Jersey,
figuring
New
out a way to
Jersey.
get together. New Jersey, figuring out a way to get together on the Slick and Thick episode.
Yeah, we're making it happen, dude.
How we doing?
We're making it happen from across the country.
Yeah, man. Let's we'll let the people come in the chat. We'll talk to them. So tell us, Mick, what's going on in your life, man?
Hey, people are coming in the chat. Should I share this somewhere?
If you want, yeah. Share it on
How do I do that?
Kat Reed says, hello, y'all. What up, Kat? What's happening? I don't know. Just tell people to go on the YouTube for Slick and Thick Show. But let's talk. Well, we got a lot to talk about today, Mick. I want to talk to you about a bunch of things that have been on my mind. What's up, Charity Morgeson? Charity Morgeson said, what's up? Kat Reed said, what's up? Shows, by the way, dude, have been incredible, man. The shows have been nuts. We did we had an unbelievable time at Indianapolis, Chicago this week, Nashville before. Dropped in on the Legion of Skank show. That was great, man.
How was that?
You know, oh, wild. 10 o'clock show. 10 o'clock.
Well, it was a Lewis show. It wasn't all the Skanks, right?
No, it was. It wasn't really Skanks at all. Actually, it was Lewis and Berg. It's the Offend Everyone tour. It was Lewis,
Berg's
Jay
your
Gomez,
boy.
and Berg is my boy. Kat Reed says she's not mad at all the sexiness on her feed right now. She's clearly talking about me. And Kat, you're welcome, baby. Meow. So I want to talk to you, Mick, about a couple things that have been on my mind here, man. I want to talk to you about the Ruslan interview that we did, and the reaction that it's gotten. I want to talk to you about some of the reaction on the Eva Lovia interview that we did.
For sure.
I want to talk about Enzo Amore, which was supposed to come out today, but is not. I want to talk to you about Cobra Tate, a fellow fighter like yourself. And I want to talk about you're big into health food and the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, and the global elites who have completely taken over our life are destined to make us eat bugs. It's not a matter of if we will eat bugs. It is a matter of when we will eat the bugs. But first,
all right. So let's start off with that.
Okay.
Let's start off with that because I know you don't fuck with the World Economic Forum.
No.
And I know
it's incredibly comfortable. Now, what is this? This looks like I could make cocoa with this. What is that?
Well, that's an insect-based premium protein. It's made from Molitor, which is mealworm larvae. The company is called Insect. This is Infras.
What the fuck?
All right, well, that tried to play that, but that sucked. I have horrible Wi-Fi here.
Did you just interrupt me with Robert Downey Jr.?
Horrible internet here in the hotel, even though we're paying.
Holy shit!
Are we lagging? Is it lagging over there on you guys?
I don't know. I thought I was talking about bugs and shit, and all of a sudden Robert Downey pops on.
Hold on, bro.
I'm glad I didn't tweet this or tell people to come watch this garbage.
Yeah, what's going on?
We're going to have a lot of editing to do.
Yeah. Hold on.
The fuck? Charity's laughing at us.
Ace Finn wants to know, is Downey a libtard? I don't know if Downey's a libtard, but I do know that he is doing the EU's...
Hey, I was about to talk about bugs.
Yeah, go for it. That's what it was. Robert Downey Jr. was on Colbert trying to sell us bug protein powder. That's what the clip was about.
Look, as I was saying until I was so rudely interrupted by Robert Downey Jr. I know you don't like the World Economic Forum, and I got a feeling you don't really like bugs. Just like as like a species or as food. Am I correct in both of those assumptions?
Yeah, I hate the World Economic Forum, and bugs gross me out to no end.
And you say this Klaus guy is the biggest like supervillain in the world, kind of that no one knows about.
He is a Bond villain.
Okay. I am not mad at bugs being put in our food. Like, if they, like crickets and whatever, I don't know, Robert Downey Jr. is talking about mealworms or something. Look, that's like, that type of protein has sustained like a lot of like Asian countries for years. Like, they eat bugs, and like cricket protein and different types of stuff like that is good for you. It's like, you know, it's almost like a combination, or it's like almost like a happy medium between meat and like what is it, like plant protein. You know, does that make sense to you a little bit? You with me so far?
I guess.
All right. I have an issue with what's been going on is putting plastics and bullshit fillers in our food, because
Like what?
that's where capitalism goes wrong. To save a buck, feeding like they're feeding their own children shit. Like, that's actually, that shit I have a problem with. Are you still there, Gerard? Because I'm only looking at me now. I hate this.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is look, we're experimenting with
Why the one time I talked, all the fucking snafus happen?
it's
You set this up, you son of a bitch.
I did. We may have to restart.
You're the other Bond villain. You and Klaus Schwab over here.
That's why I don't like them. There can be only one.
Saboteurs. Oh, okay, yeah. You don't like what you see yourself in them.
I think what it is we need headphones. That's why we're getting this reverb. Are you hearing the reverb? Like when you talk, it's talking twice?
I'm not. I can probably go find some headphones in this piece.
No, I think it's on my end. But as long
hey, people in the chat, do we sound like shit?
Speak twice.
Someone said technical difficulties. Hey, people in the chat, do we sound like shit? Does it sound good? Did you all leave because you hate us at this point? What's going on?
No, we're doing all right. We'll just power through it, man. You guys sound fine? Okay, then it's just on my end. Awesome. All right, so here's the thing, right?
Wait, did you hear my point?
I did, and I liked it. I don't. You're gonna have to be specific about what plastics they're putting in the foods, though.
There's people like our age, like people in their like 20s and 30s, coming down with like ass cancer because of all the plastics they consume. Because it's just like it's stuck into food as fillers. You can look this shit up. It's stuck into food as fillers, or it's coming off of like these mass-produced things. I assume they're also like all the packaging, like take a freaking candy bar sitting there melting in the sun. You know what I mean? Like getting plastic in it that way. Like there's so much like bad shit that crickets and bugs are the least of my worries. That shit's actually nutritious. I don't like the plastics. I don't like the bullshit oils. Give me some fucking bugs. I'm cool with eating some. That's some good protein. I got no problem with that. But
you have no problem with don't you feel like they're trying to get us to accept a lower quality of life? Like we're going from animal proteins to bugs, to stuff that rolls around in shit all day, to they don't want us to have air conditioners. They don't want us to have cars. They we're being conditioned to accept a lowered standard of living. We're being conditioned to like, hey, just sit in a mud hut and eat bugs off of piles of shit all day because that's what's best for the environment. No, I don't think that's true, because I don't think that they're going to be doing it. I don't think that they're going to be sitting, these billionaires in the World Economic Forum are going to be sitting in mud huts, sweating their ass off with no air conditioning, and eating cockroach tapioca like the rest of us will, because they don't do the stuff that they do right now. They take private jets. They fly private to billionaire conference in Davos where they eat freaking carpaccio and sushi all day long, only to tell us how us, the rest of us are ruining the world for them. So I don't know, man. Look, there's a certain amount of bias to this. There's a certain amount of cognitive bias with this. Like, I get grossed out when people have escargot. I have escargot and I'm like, dude, it's gross. So look, sure.
Escargot's dope.
It's gross, bro.
It's delicious.
It's it's you can drown anything in garlic butter and it'll taste good. That might be the bev. You cockroaches and throw them in. I mean, Rocco from episode 3. People that remember the CEO of Fun Rocco loves chocolate covered crickets. Loves it. He lived in Mexico for a while and fell in love with those fried crickets that go covered in chocolate. How about you just give me the chocolate? I mean, you say there's cricket parts and beetle parts and in ground up coffee. They say it's the most buggy thing in the world, and I drink like 4 cups a day. So who knows, man? I just don't like that it's kind of being in our throat, and it's gonna be new. They're already like rolling out like cricket flour. I don't know how you do that, but like you're gonna have pizza made with cricket flour, and it's gonna have like high protein and all.
Brother,
this sort of stuff.
I've had cricket. I've had like cricket protein powder and stuff like that. I've had cricket cookies. I've had that shit before. That shit.
You've had
like,
cricket cookies?
That's like, at least they're not poisoning us. I get where you're coming from, and you're saying like a lesser quality of life. That's a good point. That's a good point. But at least they're not poisoning us. At least they're not feeding us shit, like worse than shit, garbage, crap.
I don't know if that's
true,
though.
That's give us cancer and, huh?
I don't know if that's true though, because where do you find bugs?
Yeah, it's gonna be some fucking GMO crickets that are like, you know what I mean?
Well, first of all, if you don't think that they're gonna try to figure out a way to maximize the profitability of bugs, you're nuts. But
no, yeah, true.
Number
like,
2
look,
is where do you find bugs, Mick? Where do you find bugs?
In trees, I don't know.
In filth, in rotted stuff, and things that are dying. I don't know enough about bugs. I don't know enough, but I am at a place where I am 100% untrustworthy of the science. So they tell you it's healthy, fine. You know, you're the guy that got me to stop eating fast food, and I'm all the better for it. But it makes a lot of sense with the preservatives. That makes all the sense in the world to me. That I don't think you need to be a rocket surgeon to understand. When they're putting stuff in food,
you don't need to be able to do surgery on rockets to understand that. You're absolutely right.
You don't need to be a rocket surgeon to understand that when they're putting things in food to make them last longer, specifically, it's harder for your body to break them down. It's harder for your body with all of the preservatives. It's like they're dipping our food in like lacquer. It's like they're dipping our food in the stuff that like keeps outdoor decks sturdy longer. So I get that. That makes all the sense in the world to me. Some of the GMO stuff I think is a little overrated. It's a little fear mongering. The stuff where like, a GMO could be a seedless grape. So it's like not all of it's crazy, but a lot of it is really bad. So I don't know, man. Are you going to eat are you going to run an organic cricket farm?
I'm not. But I would hope. You know what? I guess to your point, like it's probably gonna be more like, me, like if I'm gonna like eat meat, I want some like, some grass-fed, free range shit like that. Like I like bison and I like venison.
You really don't even eat meat. You eat organs.
I do eat liver. I did eat a whole fucking mess of meat the other night, and I was full until like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock the next day. But it's the fact that there's gonna be like bullshit put in it is what I'm gonna go with. We need some free range, grass fed, organic ass crickets. But I have a feeling they're gonna probably be building them in test tubes and shit like that. And that I don't fuck with. Like I don't like that. You know what I mean?
Like all this Incrediburger stuff and like unbelievable food, like these meat alternative
I
things.
fuck with that less than I fuck with like crickets.
Yeah, it turns out that stuff is horrible for you. It's just like salt sludge. It's like the worst stuff on earth for you. It was, again, you could call this capitalism, I guess, but it's really the government that's doing it. So it's like this weird pseudo corporate fascism where they were just like, dude, we have so much of this waste. We have so much of this organic waste from creating, foods. Why don't we just put it together and throw like a little meat flavoring on it? We're going to call it Unbelievaburger. And it's like, you got these people who are vegans out there thinking they're being healthy as hell, and they're just eating like the vegetable equivalent of toxic waste, man.
You know how vegans are trying to save the environment?
How?
The best way to do that would be just to kill themselves.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole.
Just turn yourself into fertilizer.
Yeah, that's the whole.
If you're really committed to the cause, you know.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like when I people are gonna say that's harsh, but I feel the same way. Like the world's destroying, humans are destroying the world. I got one way that you can fix that.
Take a human out then.
It's the same thing with all these people with 3 kids who are so pro-abortion. I'm like, you poser.
Yeah.
You love abortion, but you got 3 kids. You poser.
Yeah, facts. So yeah, I think it's definitely a slippery slope with the bugs being put in our food.
I don't know.
If I had some sort of guarantee like that, it was just going to be like, some found crickets that are going to be, washed and ground up and put into stuff. Healthy. Good for you.
Yeah. All right, bro. I feel you. And I think that I believe you because I know you, but I also feel like
I know my shit.
If me and you were out at a restaurant and there was a cockroach in your salad, I think you'd send it back.
I wouldn't want some fucking New York City cockroach in my food. But if cockroach was on the menu and it was a delicacy and we were somewhere, I would probably munch some of those cockroaches.
You don't want raw cockroach.
Doesn't sound so good. Are they talking about putting cockroaches in our food?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cockroaches, crickets, mealworms. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look up I think you're bullshit. I'm gonna have to look up the nutrition value on cockroaches.
They're gonna grind them up. Madeline Lopez says that's cap. Steve Christopher says fuck eating bugs, no way. Ace Finn, I stick with mostly chicken, turkey, and fish. No bugs yet. Grind it up.
Yeah, you know what? You're almost there. Chicken, turkey, fish, that's all healthy proteins. Bugs, another one. That's another healthy protein. I'm not mad at it from that standpoint. But I see what you're saying. It's a slippery slope. You know what I mean? Yeah, we have a stigma over here. Like we don't fuck with that. But like Asian country, our friend Ong said he would like go out and they would forage and get all the crickets and like I don't know grasshoppers and a bunch of stuff. He grew up in Burma and he'd bring it home and his grandmother would cook it into like delicious food.
Hey, you know what? There's a massive cultural aspect of it. I'm mature enough to know that. I'm probably too far gone, man. I'm probably too far gone. There's people that, I've pet pigs on a farm and I've pet cows on a farm and they're like really nice. They're attentive. They come to you when you call them.
You never see no bacon you don't like, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like
pigs eat their own shit.
Go vegetarian, but I've
pigs
also
eat their own shit. Pigs eat their own shit. They don't sweat. So they keep all that stuff inside. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You're I
don't really dig on swine, pork too much.
You're a Muslim. You don't dig on swine, bro.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Pig's a disgusting animal.
The pig's a disgusting animal, my brother. Yeah. But it sure is delicious. I tell you what.
Sure is. Fucking ass.
But I mean, like they say dog tastes like pig, and I just, my God, if somebody killed a dog to eat it, I'd lose my mind. I like dogs more than I like humans.
All right. I love dogs so much.
Yeah.
But if we were over in, I don't know, some Eastern Asian country, and there was some already dead dog on the menu, not touching it? Nah?
No. Probably not. No. But again, I think I'm too far gone.
You'd have a piece.
Man. I don't think I would. I
really
don't.
You'd be like, no, I'm not eating Lassie.
You're only saying this because you've never seen me turn down a bite of food ever. So yeah.
I feel like if we were together, you'd have a little bite of that dog. You'd like bless yourself, you genuflect a little, you know what I mean?
And I don't think I'd eat the cockroach either.
Yeah. All right.
Chicken parm, bro. Chicken parm. They really want to get rid of the cows is what they want. They want to get rid of the cows. They want beef gone. you know, and they're going to replace it with bug protein. And they're going to win. They're going to do it because, you know, these people never stop, Mickey. They don't stop until they're stopped, and we don't have the willpower to stop them. So enjoy your last few days of not
eating real meat.
Bug protein. By the way, how they're going to market it is they're going to start using the term animal protein. So you're going to start seeing the term made with animal protein. So the next time you get a protein bar, it's going to say made with real animal protein. And that's bug, baby. That's bug.
Yeah.
Cricket flour coming your way. Speaking of cricket flour and speaking of the New World Order, Jordan Hernandez says he would pay to see an Andrew Tate, Gerard Michaels sit down about the NWO. I have very mixed feelings about it.
Does homeboy Tate know about the NWO?
Yeah, he talks about it all the time. Probably the
Really?
things I like about him most are how he calls out the globalist bullshit, and he sees it for what it is. I think Andrew Tate, and you're in that business, so you know people who know him, so you kind of know this. I think what bothers me a little bit about Andrew Tate is I think the whole thing's a work, and I can't tell what he really believes and what he doesn't. Especially now that he's selling an MLM. The guy's selling a pyramid scheme now to all these chads. So.
Oh, really? What's that? What's he selling?
Just a pyramid scheme. He's getting in on you know, I believe it's supplements, a whole bunch of other things. But all these guys look up to him, and you know the Rollo Tomasis and the Fresh and Fits of the world is like these are the guys tough enough to like say be a real man, and like being a real man is, you know. What is being a real man these days? I like that they have their voice, and I like that they're not cowardly to speak up to the, you know, the agenda of, you know, kind of this, what do they call it? Biden's office calls it the liberal world order. They stand up to that, which I like. But a lot of the other stuff is like it's a pendulum swinging too far in the other direction, where it's like, all right, you know, I hate communists and Nazis hate communists, so the Nazis must be the good guys. Let's not do that. Let's learn from that mistake, you know?
Right.
But I guess that's a long way to say I don't know who Andrew Tate is. I think Cobra Tate is a work. I think it's a gimmick. I think he's a heel. I don't get that that's authentically him. Your Tate. What's your take on it?
So when I first saw him, I was like, oh, this dude's just talking like outrageous. You know what I mean? Like he was being over the top. He's talking about just, you know, like super like, you know, like misogynist, just like over the top. But after watching, like, but here's the thing. I've also, and he is, I think he's a caricature. I think he's turned his like little beliefs up to like a 15. You know what I mean? Like he's a caricature of himself. Like he's not real. Like he's not like, that's not exactly what he thinks. I've heard him say some things that like I could actually fuck with, like where he was like, someone's like, so how do I get a 6-pack like real quick? And he's like, why does that have to be quick? Why does it have to be like immediate? Anything that's worth it is through hard work and through suffering and through blah, 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 blah. And like through that, I'm like, yo, he's got a point and he's actually talking some real shit. But then you hear some of the other stuff that he says and it's like, I think he's just saying some bullshit to go viral. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah,
like,
I do. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. And I guess deciphering what he's saying that's real from what he's saying that's bullshit is kind of like what I'm saying. I'd love to have him on. Love to have a conversation with. The other thing I'd love about it is he bullies everybody he's on with. Like he straight up bullies them, you know, and I don't think he's going to do that with me and you. You know, so, you know, he's great on Portnoy. Portnoy's taking a love to him. You know, he was great on Portnoy. Tom Segura and his wife talking about, you know, how Tom, you know, when the men are talking, ask the women to be quiet. And Tom Segura's wife's like losing his mind. And Tom Segura's like, I know, I tell her this all the time.
So that was where I was first introduced. You, me, and Nancy, where she showed us him.
That's right.
Yeah. And yeah, I thought he was just like a fucking asshole when I saw that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this dude's just like a fucking douche.
To justify.
Yeah.
How was he as a fighter? You watched any of his kickboxing? How would you say Andrew Tate is as a fighter?
I don't know. Apparently, I saw his Instagram. He's a 4-time world champ. So You know, I don't know there's levels to different champs. Like you could win a regional thing and be a champ. We'd have to look into that. So I can't really speak on that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like if those are big organizations, then that's super, you know, that's big. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't know what he's a 4-time champ of. We have to
Yeah.
who
I mean,
do we know that knew him? Linton knew him, right? So he's a nice guy.
We were supposed to have Linton on to talk about it. You know, we were supposed to have Linton on to talk about it. Well, hopefully we will soon because he's got a big fight coming up. The Swarm is up to number 2 in Bellator, right? Number 2 heavyweight.
I think he's fighting for the belt, no?
He's fighting for the belt?
Supposed
Dude,
to
that
be.
last fight was unbelievable. That last fight, I thought he was out. I thought, like, if it was boxing, he got up at the 9.5 count. He got up at 9.5, man. Came back, and that was some win.
That's where you see what a real fighter is when he's hurt, and then you get to see him respond. And we got to see Linton Vass was a bad motherfucker. It was beautiful.
It's crazy. Like it's so much of it is the referee's discretion. You know, I actually was watching Congo last night. Get knocked out 4 times. The referee kept it going, and he throws the greatest right hand of all. Hail
With
Mary
Pat Barry,
of all time.
one of the craziest
Pat
things
Barry.
ever, because the ref gave him a shot.
That was insane. That was pure insanity. Like poor Pat Barry. Like that's how do you snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, man? He's just trying to stay down, damn it, stay down.
Yeah.
Shit. Then you get caught on the button, man. It was just a little short check right to it. Didn't even seem like a big shot.
Yeah. Just hit him in the right spot.
That's it, man. I mean, how much of that do you guys, when you guys train MMA, right? When you guys are training striking, are there like certain spots that you're trying to hit, or is it just like, is it kind of like a luck in the moment thing, or do you know that there's places on the human body that like it'll shut people off?
Yes, there are, but it's like it's hard to train it because you're not trying to knock your partners out when in training, or else you know what I mean. Like you can't be knocking people out all the time. But there's definitely spots that are like susceptible. Like a lot of like if you can like even go like across, like they always say the chin is like that's probably the magic button, so to speak, spot.
Yeah, if you feel it here, you can actually
just
feel your equilibrium a little bit. You can
yeah,
hear
but
your
like
ear pop a little bit.
I could go up and just go like this hard, and probably if someone like wasn't looking, and probably drop them just because if you touch on the spot, it just rattles the brain enough, and you'll like lose your shit and fall. You know, so a lot of those, even like those glancing shots, kind of across here, can do it. You know what I mean? So like that's why when you punch, if you could like kind of just snap it, boom, boom, and like kind of just rock the head like that, you'd be good. That's why you should aim for the neck a lot, because a lot of times people have their head down. If you aim it for the neck, you can catch the chin. Temples are good spots, kind of anywhere along like the mirrors. The camera's all thing, so I can't even like show it proper. But is it this way? Nope, wrong side. Yeah, all around here. The temple's good. You could just schwack any of that stuff. You know,
what makes a chin, Mick?
Like literally, I know people who would, let's see who can hit a guy in the bar the softest and knock him out. Because like you can.
Well, that's my
and
next
it's bullshit.
Question.
Like, it's a sucker punch, and it's not nice. It's very fucked up and wrong. But like you can just go up and be like, ting, and like if you hit, they'll go down because you know just the human body. The human body, it takes that shot, and it's like, all right, save resources, sleep. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, we're under attack.
Yeah, what do you think about
that's
that Bruce Lee 1-inch punch, right? That Bruce Lee 1-inch punch.
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
What do you think is bullshit or what?
No. I think it's a little different. Like I think that's just trying to generate power in that small amount of thing. Where yes, it could, work. It could work to this thing too. I'm talking about douchebags snuffing people at bars. You know what I mean? Where they're not trying to do it hard and knock the guy 10 inches. Just like, let me say again. Is
there a way to work on your chin, or are you just like kind of like born with it? Some guys can just take a punishment, and other guys can't.
I think it's there's a little bit of both. They say a strong neck can help prevent that, but you can't like condition your head, so to speak. I think actually I think you can a little bit, like where you can get like used to almost like getting hit with blows and learn how to like move with blows. But like if you're just gonna like if I just stood there, like was just standing there, a girl could come up behind me and just like, you know what I mean, and hit me in the right spot and probably like put me down. Like it's just like just the way that our human body is, like the weaknesses of it. But yeah, if you have a strong neck and like if you're in combat, it's different. Like people who like don't fight and aren't used to like taking shots and know like what it feels like they'd get hit and they'd go into like freak out mode. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like like if you start like hitting someone with concussive blows and they're not used to like being under fire, like they're probably just gonna. That's why it's funny. Like how I love that statistic where they're like the average male is 14,000 times less effective in a fight than they think they would be.
14,000 times?
Yeah, 14,000 times less effective. Because they watch movies and they watch fighters and they're like, yeah, I could do that. But they don't actually ever do it. So it's like, then they're in that situation, they're like, yeah, I'll probably just head kick that guy and I'll fucking overhand right that guy, knock him out, knock this guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then they get in a fight and they're like, and you know what I mean? And if the guy who's across from knows how to fight.
You know who's talked about this? Jocko Willnick's talked about this with Rogan, where he's like, all these people in the world, they want to talk about, how many guns they own. And like, these people have guns. And they're like, yeah, but are they doing tactical training? Are they doing shooting while moving training? Are they doing reloading training? If they're not training with the guns, what's the point of having them? Because is the idea that you're gonna, when the feds come to your door, you're gonna hold them off somehow? The feds train every day. Are you training? So it's like, kind of like similar in that regard, where it's like, all right, well, you may have the attributes. You may be a big, tough bastard who's won a couple bar fights, but if you're going up against somebody who literally does this every day, you're gonna be struggling, bro.
Yeah.
That being said, what would happen in a Cobra Tate Mickey Gall fight?
I mean, you know my answer, bro.
No, what's your answer? This is very different than Bruce Lee because the dude's bigger than you. He's bigger than you.
Not bigger than me.
Cobra Tate's bigger than you.
No, he's not.
I think he is. Cobra Tate,
I think
is walking.
I think you're
6'3",
wrong.
225, I think he's walking around. Let's look it up.
All right. I'd whoop his ass. But on the on the gun thing, I think it's easier to point and
I'm wrong.
squeeze.
No, he's the exact same size as you. He's 6'1", 200.
I'm 6'3", like 200. And I do jiu-jitsu.
You're 6'3", 197.
It's true. That's true. So, but like with the gun thing, I've also had a friend who like does so. Because I'm open carry in Florida, open carry in Jersey now. I'm in the process of doing like some of that tactical training and stuff. So I can have my own, but I know people who say they're like, yeah, like someone who's not trained is like they're more likely to hurt themselves with the gun than
100%.
I don't totally
Cheddar
believe
bomb.
that. I think that's Cheddar Bomb. Well, yeah, Cheddar Bomb is a great example from 8 Mile. But you know what I'm saying? Like realistically, like if you you know what I mean, if you have like trigger control and if you take your gun out and point, you're probably not gonna hurt yourself. But again, under the stress,
if people are running and the barrel starts working up towards them, not good.
Yeah, well, they're dumb motherfuckers. I think very, very dumb people are definitely more. But dumb people never know they're dumb. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah. They just vote. Yeah. That's dumb people never know they're dumb. It's very true. It's a very good point. So, speaking of dumb people who don't know they're dumb, I thought the comment section in our Eva Lovia video was a little unwarranted, man. I thought people really were giving Eva the business, and they didn't give her perspective enough of a chance, man. Did you read any of those comments?
I did. I did. I saw some of them. Yeah, you have a very puritanical comment section on your. That was a little surprising to me.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. I guess I've been ripping on the woke for so long. I guess everybody was like, well, you know, he must be one of us, and I'm like, I tend to agree with a lot of what Eva was saying. I was all right with it. I just I maybe it's not a life for me, but I thought she made some really great points, man. And I really don't like how people just dismiss.
Yes, it was
Maybe
very
she's
dismissive and just wrote her off like the whore, fucking porn star, and that was stupid because she actually,
yes.
if you listen to the podcast, she had some really well thought out and like backed up information, and she was. I was very impressed with her brain and with her making her points and backing up what she's saying.
Yeah. And her confidence on top of it. She wasn't just smart. She was confident in her perspective. She's done her research.
Yes.
She didn't come to this worldview like willy-nilly. She's educated herself on the things that she's passionate about.
Yeah. So did people had the one I saw where they had a lot of problems with it when she was talking about like sex doesn't just have to be about love, like for females.
Yeah.
And a lot of the issue people seem to have was like, oh, there's a release of, I don't know if it's oxytocin or some sort of shit that makes them like fall in love with guys that they have sex with.
Well, there is a certain amount of,
and that's real.
It is. There's a certain amount of, especially the younger you are, right? This is the whole thing with the grooming and the pedophilia and all this other stuff, and like this argument that people are having on Twitter. My cousin is a psychologist, and he's been doing stuff for a long time, and he's been published, and he did a research on there was strippers, and then there was people who were self-described as homosexual and blah blah blah. Anyway, long story short, the crossover between the two was that over 90% of them had inappropriate sexual contact before the age of 14, normally by a family member. Strippers, I believe he interviewed like 500 people who were or are strippers, and out of the 500, something like 480 of them had been molested or abused on some level. So there absolutely is something in the way that sex at an early age or sex before you're intellectually and emotionally ready for it can have lasting long-term effect on your self-worth, on how you view sex, on how you view your body, on your self-worth, essentially, right? On your self-worth. But what I don't like in the opposite of that is putting your morality on somebody else. If somebody is an adult and if somebody is making their own decisions, I understand protecting children. I'm 100% on board with that. But if somebody is an adult and they want to be promiscuous or they want to be sexually active or they want to be, and they know the risks involved with it, and and who are you to judge them is basically where I come from in that regard, right? Especially when a lot of the guys were openly promiscuous and they're like, well, the man can't get pregnant. Like that's that shit where it's like, all right, bro, you just looking for the cheat code, man. I'm sorry, that's not the way this world works. That's not the way this world works anymore. And I think that that's a good thing that progressives have done. Like, women should not be second-class citizens to men, which I really don't think is a controversial statement. Somebody in the comments is going to be like, oh, you're a cuck, you're this, you're that. Not, it's just, you there or no?
Yeah.
Nick?
Just listen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But at the same time, I totally get it too, because if I was with a girl and I was falling in love with her and she told me, hey, back in my 20s, I was getting DP'd every weekend, I'd be like, I don't know if I don't know. I'd like to say I'm mature enough to be like, all right, well, that was then and this is now, but I don't think I would be. I don't know, but it's for them to live their life how they want to. It's not for me to tell them how to live their life. And And I don't, and this goes into the Ruslan interview where people are, again, it's like, you know, who are you to tell other people what's right and what's wrong? Live your life how you see fit, you know, but the sitting in judgment over other people, especially when your side of the street isn't clean, that's when, you know, I personally would rather have dinner with Eva Lovia than 90% of the people in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? She's more interesting. She's more introspective. She's lived a life that's worth talking about. I can learn something about myself from her. I can't learn anything from you. I can't from these other people. I can't learn from reading the Bible or reading Salon or what. You know what I'm saying? Like there's an individuality to her. She's had wins. She's had losses. And also, I love that what we've done with this podcast, not to kiss our own ass. I mean, how many podcasts in the world can say within their first 5 episodes they had a porn star and a preacher? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people want to act like, you know, we've got to be on one side or the other side. Nah, man, we're just here to understand and discuss life as a whole, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I hear you. I think, yeah, I think you can't totally fall. Like you have a point to arguments of her. You know what I mean? Like, where you might not be comfortable with a girl getting DP'd all the time, and I don't think she's calling for that. I think she's just saying like what I saw from what people seem to have an issue with versus what she was saying was either sex is supposed to be for marriage, which kind of seems like an archaic kind of thought. I mean, don't you want to you know, test drive the car before you buy it?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you know, it's I don't know, it's a different world. But you know, it seemed like a little bit of like kind of like old thinking. I thought in those comments, if you know, just referring to that, I thought it was you know, kind of a pure.
Well, again, I think that's it kind of goes back to that Cobra Tate thing, Mick. I think one of the real things we have to be careful about moving forward is the progressive left has been so aggressive in their messaging of being like everything old is wrong, everything Christian is wrong, everything that you know or you were brought up with, the culture you were brought up with is wrong and evil, that the pushback to that kind of like gaslighting and manipulation is going to be, well, then everything old must have been super right, and everything, you know, all the old ways must be the right ways. You know, if the new ways are causing $5 gas and farmers to be shut down, then the old ways must have been right. We got to be very careful with that too, man. You know, this idea of binary thinking where it's one way or the other way, you know, because it's kind of that Hegelian dialectic, right? Like, you know, equal and opposites where, you know, one side pushes and the other side pushes back, you know, and that's, we don't want to go back to being, you know, kind of like repressive puritanical, like you so ardently stated, you know. It just seems like for whatever reason, libertarianism is just an impossibility. It's like people just can't let other people do their thing. They just can't live and let live. They have to be like in control or sit in judgment of other people's lives. And speaking of that, I mean, I really enjoyed our conversation with Ruslan. I really enjoyed it. You know, but the
what type of where'd you get some heat from that?
Well, I got heat for, you know, attacking the church, and a lot of people wanted to defend the church, and it was just like, you know, a couple bad apples. Well, a couple bad apples isn't systemic pedophilia and covering up pedophilia for 60 years. That's not a couple bad apples. That's full-on corruption, especially when you sit in judgment of how other people live their life. So you want to tell gay people that they're living their life incorrectly, you know, and gay people piss me off too, man. But you know, like we're driving through Indianapolis and they've got
like
pride
when they
flags
kiss
up
you?
all over the place. Huh?
Like when they kiss you?
No, that's when I like them. That's when they're showing love, Nick. You got a lot of stones making a homophobic comment when you sit half naked grabbing men from behind for 5 hours a day.
I was just asking what pissed you off about it.
Huh?
I was just asking
what pisses me off about the modern day movement is that what pisses me off about the modern day movement is they that there's nothing American about them. They're like separatists. They don't fly the American flag. They fly their flag. And they got every damn color in the rainbow.
Well, it's way prettier than the I don't know. I'm just trying to make it funny.
What? I couldn't hear what you said.
I said, well, it's way prettier. Their flag's way prettier.
Their flag's way prettier. Yeah, they got 95 colors and none of them are red, white, and blue. It just pisses me off, man. It's like, the separatist stuff on the left bothers me because you can leave. And I'm not one of these people that says if you don't like it, leave. I'm one of these people that say you hate it. Why aren't you leaving? Like, if everything in the world, if you hate everything about this place, why do you stay? Like, I just don't understand.
Right.
There's places out there that have the
people
world
like
that
to
you
fucking
want.
bitch.
But the bitching has an effect, Mick. It's not just bitching, man. Like I'm sitting there in freaking Indianapolis, and there's more people walking the streets of Indy than when we were in New York. There's more people in Indianapolis walking the streets, lively, having a good time. There's more bars open in Indianapolis right now than New York. New York's in trouble, man. Politics, man, it gets annoying, but it's more than gossip, and it's more than a team sport. It has real life consequences, dude. I mean, me and you, we can't tell the world, but me and you have an opportunity to make some money, and we got to figure out how we're going to do it because of politics. We got to figure out a way around politics to go talk to people, Like, crazy. It has real world effect, and I sit there and I look at, Ruslan, who I enjoyed the conversation. His people are killing him for not giving me a harder time on pushback about the church, about, the corruption in the church and stuff like that. They're like, well, we knew Gerard was gone, but what about you, Ruslan? And then he got shit for saying that gay people can be born gay, that it's not a choice. All right. So again, man, my big issue
Christianity believes that being gay is a choice.
There's so many different sects of Christianity. It's hard to believe, but yeah, the hardcore, like, fundamentalist Christians believe it's like you're living in sin, and that it's a choice, and that or even to say the way Ruslan said it was like, listen, some people are born blind, some people are born, so like being gay is a handicap. Like, again, man, it's like, that's where you lose me, dude. Like, they just are the way that they are. Like, there's just, and the fact that you're going to sit in judgment over somebody else, how they are, when you won't even clean up your own churches, that's where it gets me. That's where it gets me.
Yeah, I thought Ruslan was mad cool.
Yeah, Ruslan was dope, and he's very, very, very good recording artist as well. I mean, he's being known more for being a preacher now, but he's a very good recording artist. He's very, very talented.
Yeah,
very, very, very talented producer as well. Yeah, I mean, what was your big takeaway from the talk? What was your big takeaway? Did you feel like you had to question your religious beliefs from that? Did you?
No. Like I told you, I admire, and I'm almost like a little jealous of people who are very staunch and very believe big time believers. I think it provides a sense of security. I think it get, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I know I'm going to I know, God's taking care of me, looking down on me, and is gonna, I'm gonna go to the afterlife and be in paradise and all that stuff. And my thing is, listen, anyone who tells me what happens when you die, if you haven't died, don't tell me what happens when you die, because you don't know. And it's all, you know what I mean? It's all pretty it all seems pretty man-made. It seems like a lot of ways to control. If you're good when you're alive, you get to get good things. When you die, seems like it's a stick they're holding out, that, you know what I mean, just to keep people in line, kind of. So like I said, I grew up like you, like, Roman Catholic. We go to church, and you're a kid, you believe that just like you believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. It's like, oh yeah, okay, that's what the adults are telling me. They know everything.
Yeah,
but
no
I think
adult
like,
would ever lie to me.
yeah, right. So that's what I think. I think I kind of like admire it, and I'm I'd like to be able to find that like myself. But I'm skeptical, and I like to live my life like as realistic and as real as I can, and I can't like just put blinders on and just okay, I'm just gonna believe and do this and that, like so that's where I'm at with it. I think there's a lot of like really good people who are like involved in the church, and I think there's also some scumbags and stuff. So it's like just like anything. I do kind of think there is the bad apple thing. There's some bad apples. I think for the most part it's meant to be good, but you get a mixed bag.
Do you let like religion affect the way that you live your life at all? I mean, it's really interesting going back-to-back episodes with Eva and Ruslan, seeing kind of two people that I really, really enjoyed speaking with, and two people that have like pretty disparate worldviews, right? So do you let your religious upbringing like affect the way that you live your life at all? Do you think like before you do something like, God's not gonna like this?
I should say first, like, I'm not like I was that religious growing up. Like, we'd go to church an hour once a week for an hour, and it was one of the most boring parts of my week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Dude, I know. Yeah. The second I got my confirmation, I was like, I don't have to go anymore, right? Like, this is graduation for this nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would spend I would try and get at least 2 bathroom breaks in during it, and like you know what I mean, like so I could like get up and move. Like I wasn't a school guy. I didn't like being stuffed in a desk. I didn't like being sat in a pew. I didn't like any of that shit.
CCD was the worst, bro. Did you have CCD?
Yeah, and that was a combination of both. But it was like more school. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's, I think religion does point, and all the religions kind of have, the 10 Commandments. I think that's absolutely a way you should live your life. I don't think you should over litericize it, like take it too literally where you can't even look at like another woman. You know what I mean? And that type of shit. Like, but yeah, you shouldn't steal. You shouldn't kill. You shouldn't. You know what I mean? Sure. Like, there's a lot of like shit you shouldn't do. But I think like some of the tenets are correct, but I wouldn't say I'm not doing it out of fear for the afterlife. I'd be doing it more out of like just being like a good person, and because I think karma is like more like a real thing that I've probably I could probably almost subscribe to a little more.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I do think karma comes back around. Now, there are a lot of like very religious people in the fight world, because the baseball world there was a ton of super religious people.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. And like I said, like
how do they justify being professionally violent when they're hyper religious?
That's a good point, and I'm gonna pull something up to because I just read it this morning. One of my favorite people in the world, who you met, Impa, just had a beautiful win this weekend. He's a freaking beast. He was in the UFC. Unfortunately, he was on the receiving end of that crazy back kick by the dude Buckley, where the dude kicks him and he gets knocked out. Impa's one of the kindest people you'll ever meet. He's a very religious guy. He's a kind man. Like he's one of the strongest dudes I ever met. Absolute beast.
Yeah, I rolled with Impa, right?
I don't know that you did. I don't know. But I saw him say, like, put something up at, like, all the nations surrounded me, but in the name of the Lord, I cut them down. Like, there's a lot of stuff where you can take from the Bible, and you know what I mean? Like, and again, more thinking about it, it's a fucking game. It's a game. A lot of men have in this world today, we don't. A lot of men have the warrior gene in us. We have, you know what I mean? We have, but we like almost like, but what's if and when you get to have similar here, circling back to the Andrew Tate thing, when you have something hard to do in like you have a hard challenge, you have to go fight a killer, that can give you a lot of purpose, and that you can like it's like the best thing I've really ever known is like, you know, I get to go in there and put, you know, my training up against like someone else's, and it's not so much in like I'm like where do you see, what's the error in what's wrong with, you know, like fighting, like it's not like we're killing, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm going around and taking on
somebody could die,
unexpected person and just going to sucker punch. Like we sign up for this. There's money on the line. We sign up. He signs a name to fight me. I sign my name to fight them. And we're going to meet on this date and we're going to do fucking combat. And it's, you know, it could be scary. It could be hard. The training's, you know, it's grueling. You're getting yourself exhausted. You're fighting people every day. Like it's a beautiful thing that when you go through something tough and, you know, you come out of that like victorious, it's a beautiful feeling. It's great. And I think for what it does for us as like men and the way it builds our character and makes us confront reality and be realistic and be, you know, real and, you know, really partake in this time we have of being alive. Like it's a beautiful thing. It's you know, it's an extreme existence, but it's awesome. Like it's not like you know, to go back to like those times where you're, you know, fighting for your people and your tribe, like you're fighting for yourself and your family and putting, you know, want to put food on the table and, you know, bring glory to you and yours. And a lot of the people do theirs and can easily justify it from, I want to bring glory to my God, you know?
Yeah. I guess, yeah. You know, maybe I'm just like you like to say, I'm a cynical comedian. Maybe I'm just jaded, dude. You know, I saw a lot of guys praise God after a home run. I never heard anybody come back to the dugout and thank God after a strikeout. So I don't know. You know, I just I don't know. You know, I played with a lot of guys who would pray before every meal and then go out with a different girl after every game. So I don't know, man. It's for me, it's just a lot of it is cultural. I just think those guys are kind of posers. I don't know. If you're gonna live that life, live that life. I don't live that life because it's not for me. I want to hang out with the honeys after the game, but I'm not sitting here telling everybody else how to live their life. You know,
you want to go to hell, Gerard?
To me, I guess that's the difference.
You want to burn in eternal damnation for eternity?
When I die, fuck it, I want to go to hell because I'm a piece of shit. It ain't hard to fucking tell. It don't make sense going to heaven with the
Biggie said
dressed
that.
in white. I like black Timbs and bled hoodies.
Damn, are you saying Biggie's burning, bro? Fuck you.
Oh, attaboy.
Unbelievable.
There's nobody out there like Biggie today, man. I was listening to Biggie.
Never thought that's what got you canceled.
Huh?
Talking shit on Biggie.
What'd you say?
That's a cancelable offense.
Oh, I thought you were saying God was going to give me cancer. I was like, I've been eating a lot of plastic, Mick. Let's not go there. Plastic. Let's go. So you'll never get this being fat, bro. But like, if I got cancer, I'd want to know, am I going to die? And if I was going to die, I'd be like, man, that sucks. But if I was like one of those cancers that was like curable, I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna lose a lot of weight. Like, this is a good. The only two ways I'm ever gonna get in shape at this point is cancer or prison, where like they'd have to lock me up and only feed me twice a day, like, you know.
Yeah, because AIDS is like pretty curable nowadays, so that's not a sure.
Yeah, it's monkey. I think AIDS is just called monkeypox now.
Is that right?
I think
I've been hearing about this monkeypox thing.
Yeah, it's monkeypox.
I gotta use the restroom.
Get it by having gay sex, by the way. Monkeypox is gay sex. You know, I guess you're not allowed to say this. Is this somehow bigotry? But like 99% of all cases are sexually transmitted between gay men. So
check this out. I have to use the restroom, Gerard. I have to use the restroom, but I have to use the restroom, and I'm sure you'll be still answering this question when I get back. I'm gonna Steve
He's
asked,
taking a potty break in the middle of his own podcast.
but
He's taking
listen,
a potty break
Steve
in the middle of
said,
his own
do you guys think the woke BS system is losing steam? And go.
I do think it's losing steam, but only because there are jokes that I've been telling lately that are really hitting that a year ago wouldn't have hit. I think people are finally starting to understand that their voice is necessary and that they can only quote unquote cancel you if you let them. If you don't care, they have no power over any of us. The emperor has no clothes. I think when it comes to the woke BS, guys, we like to talk about being the silent majority, but that's not okay. And we need to understand that's not okay. And we have to hold each other accountable because the silent majority is really a cowardly majority. We have to be more vocal. Our opinions are just as valid as theirs. Our beliefs are just as valid as theirs. And not only do we have to be more vocal, we have to vote with our wallets. We have to make purchases specifically because of XYZ. If somebody puts some sort of political messaging on something that you normally consume, buy clothing or buy food or watch commercials, you need to email the company and be like, I just need to let you know I eat your stuff all the time and I'm not doing it anymore because you guys had this messaging on there, that you guys had some sort of pro-Ukraine, pro-China messaging. So if you guys really want to see this world change, you got to understand that there's no such thing as a silent majority. There's only a cowardly majority. And whoever speaks, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I mean, just remember, guys, all of Germany weren't Nazis. It was less than 10% in 1930. Less than 10% of the population took over all of Europe and ruined how many millions of lives because of it. So we got to find our voice. We got to find our voice and understand this. Something I've never struggled with, but apparently a lot of people do. It is your God-given right to be an asshole. You should want to be a nice person, but you by no means have to be a nice person. You can be a jerk to anyone at any time, although you shouldn't, but you should be a jerk to people who deserve it. People who deserve ridicule, you're not helping anybody. I made a trans joke. I made a couple of them on Thursday at Nashville, specifically because the trans community got Dave Chappelle's show shut down. I said, I'm gonna, in solidarity with Chappelle, I'm gonna make a couple jokes. And if anybody wants to Will Smith, come up on stage with me. Somebody wants to do that Will Smith shit with Chris Rock at 5'6" and 110 pounds, I get it. Come up on stage when I'm up there, bring your Will Smith energy with me. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't happened yet, but I did get this lesbian couple after the show. Come on, everybody's talking about how great of a show it was, how funny it was. Carol Ann Miljovic was amazing. The show had so much energy. This couple comes up and like scoffs at me and go, "You should be ashamed of yourself. Haven't the trans community been through enough?" Apparently not, because they want a lot of attention. So, I don't know what you're talking about. To me, do whatever you want to do. Be trans, be this, be that. But you either got an innie or an outie at any given moment. So that's just the truth of the matter, But that's it. That's where I'm at on that. Do I think they're losing steam? Yes, but I think that the wounded dog is the one that's most dangerous. I think they know that they're losing public support, and that's when they start ushering in all of their stuff. I mean, how much public support do they really need? Is there public support for $5 gas? They don't care. They roll their eyes and say, "Hey, whatever, peasant, buy an electric vehicle." Is there public support for shutting down farms? No, they're like, whatever, eat bugs. They don't care. They're going to have their world, whether we like it or not, and they're not going to stop unless we stop them. So that's my soapbox as Mickey's back from the pisser.
Well, yeah, that my plan worked perfectly. So other than traveling around doing shows on the road, you've been waxing some ass at pickleball?
Dude, let me ask you something. When I first introduced you to pickleball, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was a gay name, pickleball. I like pickles. I was like, what is pickleball? I didn't. It sounded dumb. But then when we played it, it was pretty fucking fun.
Did you think it was going to be like a national phenomenon? I have no idea what's happening, and I have no idea why it's happening. I went to play in Nashville. You know, obviously down by us in Florida, it's immensely popular. But there's like a lot of old people. Like I thought it was kind of like an old person's game, like bocce or whatever. Go on the courts at Nashville. I go on the courts at Nashville, Mick. Packed. Everybody 30 or younger. Packed.
This is what I think. I think it's an easy game to make sense of. It's like not that it's easy because there's levels to it. It's easy to go out there and go have fun with it.
There's levels to this stuff, Papa.
Yeah, but like it's easy to pick up, and you know anyone could have fun with it. You could have fun. You could be a kid, or you could be. There's a huge age range. If you're athletic and if you have like a tennis background, you could be freaking nasty with it. You know what I mean? So there's like it's anyone could do it, and I think almost anyone with even just a reasonable amount of athleticism could get good at it. Like it's simply put, it's just fun. It's fun. It's easy. You're whacking a ball with a paddle over a net, but it's easier than tennis. It's a smaller court. It's fun. You make some plays. You get
and it's co-ed. It's co-ed friendly. Like there's a lot of games that just aren't co-ed friendly. If people want to play softball co-ed, it's insanity. Like it's nuts. People want to play like co-ed volleyball. No. Like we got smoked by a 50-year-old couple, and one of the it was a 50-year-old dude and his wife smoked us one day because she was just nasty with the paddle, man. Like
they're both tennis players. If you play tennis, yeah, you could probably hop into pickleball and be pretty nasty with it.
Yeah, well, I think it's incredible, man. I love that the game is gaining so much steam. You know, if you put me on a treadmill for 10 minutes, it's 9.5 minutes of torture for me. But we can play pickleball for 4 hours and it's no problem. You know,
so
I love
fun,
it.
Man.
I love
it's
it
fun.
to death.
Where are you off to next? Where are you now? Where are you off to next?
I'm in Chicago right now. We played 8 games yesterday. Went 8-0 on the courts at Horner Park. Put it down. We're
in Carol Ann
at the Rose at Zany's Rosemont Theater. Not the Rosemont Theater, Zany's Comedy Club, Rosemont. Thursday night. Then I come back for a couple days, and then I go up to Charlotte, North Carolina, and Greenville, and then we got shows in Florida, man. And soon to announce some stuff for me and you, hopefully as early as next week. So stay tuned for that, people.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been back in Jersey. I got my little brothers got some fights coming up August 6th. So I've just been training them just day in and day out. Like I just came from the gym training LJ and Russ. LJ Raboli is he's 3-0. He's gonna have his 4th pro fight. He's a beast, 6'3", 155er. Maybe he'll be 145er when he gets to the UFC. You never know. But either way, he's going to be a champ. My buddy Russ Corbel, the Corbelizer's got his first pro fight coming up. That kid's a trip. He's awesome. And then Josh Ugaldi's fighting for an amateur belt. That's all on August 6th out in Lake Harmony, Pennsylvania. So I just been getting them right. Just been in the gym with them like every day, just getting working on my own stuff a little bit, but also taking it a little lighter because then I'm gonna get back into camp and get another fight myself soon.
What do you think of Nate Diaz and Chimaev? Chimaev? How do you say that?
I think it's Chimaev. I think. It's a 5-round fight, which that aspect favors Nate. But Chimaev's young.
I wanted to ask you about that. Why is it a 5-round fight if there's no belt?
It's probably a main event, or maybe if it isn't a main event, they probably could have just wrote it in that way.
You can decide how long you want the fights to be.
I think so. I think the UFC can.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chimaev's hot right now. He's he just came off a really close win with Gilbert Burns. Fight could have went either way, but he showed in that fight that
was the best I ever saw Gilbert Burns fight. Gilbert Burns was incredible.
Yeah, man, he's a great dude. Very very skilled fighter. He's a real one, no doubt. But Chimaev showed a lot of his wins were like quick, like, he'd win in the first round, and that's it. So we got to see we got to see him get tired, and we got to see him push through and be a man and get it done. Now, and that was a 3-round fight. He did. He pushed through, and he turned it on in the 3rd round, and he was there for it when he could have, some people could fold at that point. He didn't, but it'll be interesting seeing him go against Nate in 5 rounds, because that's 10 extra minutes of fighting. So it'll be interesting to see.
Do you think Nate has the wrestling to keep Chimaev off him?
Huh?
Do you think Nate has the wrestling to keep Chimaev off him? I think Nate can strike.
I don't know. Nate's wrestling is not on Chimaev's level. Nate's jiu-jitsu is better than Chimaev's jiu-jitsu, but Chimaev's big. He's young. He's hungry. Nate wants out of the UFC. He wants to go make money elsewhere. Kind of how we were talking about how they these Jake Pauls and this and that. We were talking the other day about like the future of these sports. Like the game's obviously changed. Like there's a change in this game. Like you could maybe make more money fighting a YouTube celebrity than you could fighting in the best organization of fighting in the world, of the UFC.
Well, let me ask you about that, because my industry's changing too. I mean, for my whole life in comedy, it's you got to get on Netflix. You got to get on Netflix. And Andrew Schultz says, "Why?" Andrew Schultz says, "I got millions of followers. I'm just going to sell it to them myself. Why am I even splitting it with these people who want to have creative control over like." You wasn't with me shooting in the gym. You're not helping me in any way. I present this to you, and then you tell me what to cut, and then you take a cut of it. No, I'm just going to put it out how I want it, and I'm going to make the money. So the industry's got to be shook. Like for the industry has to want Andrew Schultz to fail so bad, because Andrew Schultz's success will have everybody changing their ideas of how to do this forever, right? Like
I think it's a little bit of both. I think. So here's the thing: we saw in the past, like Louis C.K. do his special for like $5. You buy it online, all the money goes to him. He put it on a site. Rogan did that
because nobody would handle it, though. That was different. Like he had no other options.
I don't think you're right. I don't think that's true. This was before his whacking off thing. This is a long time ago.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this is for sure. And then Netflix would give Dave Chappelle $60 million to do a few like specials, and like, okay, yeah, obviously we'll go to Netflix. So I think if they're not giving them the money to do it on one of these where it's worth it, then yeah, they could do it their own route and could make that, maybe not quite that type of money, but it can make something. You got guys like Bill Burr who's doing all his specials with Netflix. They're obviously compensating him, taking care of him. Dave Chappelle, they're compensating him, taking care of him. But then there's other guys who like, the way we'll translate this is like, maybe, and this is an example you brought up, maybe like LeBron and Kevin Durant, they could be getting paid this much by the NBA. They're well taken care of. But if they weren't, like some UFC fighters aren't, like, Nate Diaz could call me and be like, hey, like, when you're done with your UFC contract, don't resign and let's go fight in the gym. No time limit for an hour. And,
bare knuckle.
Let's sell pay-per-view. And, maybe you make more. I don't know the numbers and shit like that, but, people like Jake Paul's making a lot of money because he's got a lot of followers and a lot of, YouTube, he's an influencer, whatever the fuck he is. And, he's making money doing these
Do you
boxing
think it's
fights.
a legit threat to the UFC? I mean, the UFC will always have a place, but like,
I think
the NBA. I think the NBA has a big problem on its hands, man, because you've got like 6 marketable stars. Really, that's it. And if those 6 decide, you know what? Why am I making $30 million to play 100 games between 82 and the playoffs when we can go play a 3-on-3 pay-per-view and it'll be Michael Jordan's 3 versus LeBron James 3, like LeBron James, an old head and a college kid, Michael Jordan, Kevin Durant, and a college kid. Who's not going to watch that game for, $100 million? So I don't know. I think that
I think you
professional
froze.
sports. I think professional sports needs to be very careful, man. I think professional sports needs to be very, very careful. Because look, even with comedy clubs, like you take what Andrew Schultz did, and then you start to say to yourself, like, why do I even need a comedy club? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't I just rent out a bar and bring in the people? Why am I giving the club 20% of the door? I'll just do it myself.
Isn't that what Doug Stanhope does?
It's exactly what Doug Stanhope does. It's exactly what Doug Stanhope does.
So I think it's not like one is gonna go and the other's gonna stay. I think they're just both are gonna exist, and both are gonna have more power to continue to exist through UFC's social media and stuff. They're gonna still have a stronghold in the game.
There's prestige. There's no doubt about it. There's a certain amount of prestige standing on stage at Zany's. There's a certain amount of prestige standing in the UFC octagon. There's a certain amount of like realness to it. It's almost like a stamp. Like, all right, this dude's the real deal. But when it comes to money, it's hard to argue with the Andrew Schultz and the it's hard to argue, with. I think I heard Ben Askren say that getting knocked out by Jake Paul made more money than every other fight he was ever been in combined.
Is that right?
That's tough. That's what I believe. That's what he said. That's tough, man.
He needs a better manager.
All right, but I tell you what, though, man. If we got to do. How about this? What if we did a Mickey Gall Cobra Tate fight and then a podcast right after the fight? Immediately after the fight, you guys got to sit down and podcast.
I'm down. Put me in for that.
But it's got to be MMA, or are you going to go into kickboxing with him?
MMA, real fight.
Real fight. No holds barred.
No holds barred. Real fight.
Yeah. What do you think of this bare knuckle stuff? You think this bare knuckle stuff has a chance, or is it a gimmick?
I think it's cool. I'd like to see some bare knuckle full MMA fights too. But bare knuckles boxing is cool. It's like it's old school. You know what I mean? Like it's cool.
Yeah,
I fuck with it. I fuck with all
bare
the combat.
Might help
sports,
MMA, man. It's hard to grapple in those gloves, man.
Yeah, it's easier with just your hand working your shit for sure.
Yeah, I tell you, I hope Nate Diaz does call you up. You and Nate Diaz would be a hell of a fight. You and Nate Diaz get in there and do a little shit talking. That'd be a-okay.
That'd be fun, right?
Yeah, man.
I wanted to see him fight Conor one more time. That trilogy would have been cool.
Yeah, he seems to not want to do it. I don't know what the deal is. A lot of people seem to be trying to distance themselves from Conor behind the scenes. I don't know enough about it, but Dustin Poirier, wants to distance himself from it. Nate Diaz seems to have no interest in it. I wonder what's going on.
I don't know. I don't know why. Mad people want to fight Conor. I think he might. We'll see. I think they're gonna have Poirier and
Do you want to fight Conor?
Everyone wants to fight Conor, bro.
Everyone
wants to fight Conor. Everyone wants to fight Jake Paul. Everyone wants to fight.
Ever fought anybody your size?
No.
Nah.
Well, he fought Cowboy. I'm a little bigger than Cowboy, but Cowboys was a 55er and then a 70. Yeah, no. He's never, I don't think he's ever fought a true 70 pounder.
Is the speed advantage going up in weight that much better than the strength advantage going down?
There's something to be said for both. You got to take it on a case to case basis. But 170 and 155 are the best two divisions. 145 is third, and the reason being is because that's like the size of most like athletic like males. Like, you know what I mean? Like you'd be like, if you're 200-pound male, you fight at like 170. If you're 180-pound male, you fight at 155. And then, if you're like a 160, 170 pounder, you might fight at like 145. So that, those are the deepest and the best three. I would say it goes 55 and 70 is a toss up for number one, and then 3 is 145. I think.
Right.
But I think 55 and 70.
I personally think the heavyweights are the best, but whatever.
Well, I think heavyweights are the you can say heavyweights are definitely the baddest men on the planet, because you got to assume with the the size and all that they would, if you're the heavyweight champion like Francis Ngannou, you got to say that guy could beat any guy on the, if you're the UFC heavyweight champion, that guy could beat up any guy on the planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember Frank Mir had a great quote about that, where, he when he was like, he lost to Lesnar, and he was super depressed, and then he woke up one day and he said, you know what? There's 8 billion people on Earth, and like 11 of them can beat me in a fight. I'm doing all right. Yeah,
he's right. It's true.
Yeah, man. Well, Mickey G, episode 6 in the books, man. I'm glad for all you people that stuck with it to the end. Thanks for sticking through the technical difficulties. We did the best we could on the road here without a producer, just doing a little Zoom for you to keep you guys in the loop. We'll get another episode out to you guys next week. Hopefully, well, you're still be in Jersey next week, so we'll probably have to do a Zoom again next week.
Yeah, maybe we'll do another Zoom sometime this week. Maybe we'll do a couple of them, put like a nice little compilation together with some fucking wicked hot
Sounds
fire.
Good. Wicked hot fire.
Yeah.
All right, brother. All right, man. Well, I'm going to go get ready to eat some non-cricket food. I'm going to go do a little Brazilian radicchio, get as much meat in my belly as I possibly can stand.
Hey, enjoy it while you can, kid.
All right. For Slick Rick the Ruler, the master of punks, the slayer
Slick
of sages,
who?
The Huh?
You say Slick Rick?
I said, oh, my bad. For Slick, on behalf of Slick Mick the Ruler, the master of punks, the slayer of sages, the king of the octagon, the king of the ring, the CEO of the RNC, Jersey's own, Mickey Gall. I am Gerard Michaels. You can see me this Thursday at Rosemont in Zanies, Chicago. And episode 6 in the books. Peace.
Peace.